Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the J-WAT podcast. Holy shit. Let me just start off right off the bat. We are in a incredible time for the filmmaking community, especially the indie filmmaking community, and we're going to get into it today because it's just so exciting. There's so much exciting things going on, and, hopefully it's going to affect other filmmakers, and we just have a lot to talk about, but with me to talk about it, as always, is Tim Drake. Hello, Tim.
Hello.
My
It's
friend.
funny as you started in there. We've been doing this show a while. So for people that don't know, it gives us a countdown. Like
Yes.
5, 4. I was expecting a theme song. I'm the one who edits this show. I put the theme song in editing. Yet my dumb brain sat here going, like, I was ready to like dance along to it, and I was like, "What? We're just live. We just go. You do all of that later."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're here, y'all. It's we're pumping, and we got so much fun stuff in the pipelines. Demonetize has had such a fun festival run already, and it's still kind of crazy to think that we're still in the beginning.
We're only in the first handful. Like it's
crazy. We still have a good chunk, over 15, maybe 20 festivals that we still haven't heard back from. So but yeah, we've got accepted into a bunch of I think by the time this comes out, we're headed to Cleveland. So if you're in that area, come check it out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna save that for the end, so I don't know why I'm saying that.
Well, we repetition, my friend.
There you go. Repetition.
So
yes.
because as this comes out, we'll be in Cleveland and starting our run at Chattanooga Film Festival. Yes. They kind of overlap each other.
Yes, so, but one is virtual, so that's awesome. So if you want to check out the film, that's your chance, y'all.
That one's Chattanooga Film Festival. Is good. Yeah. You need a virtual pass.
Yeah,
and then
Cleveland Horror Hotel. And if you want to come see me and Janine in person, you can, where, we'll be at our screening. But also, they've been kind enough to, Janine's going to be doing a panel about actors and what producers look for in actors. And then I am doing a panel with some other awesome screenwriters about how to hook people in the first 5 pages, which is honestly my favorite thing to do in scripts. So it's kind of funny that that's what the panel they picked me for. So if you want to come out and learn about that, and you're near and around Cleveland, come check it out. I've never been, so excited about that.
Are you guys going to have time to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
My gosh, that'd be so sick. If there's anything that I want to do, it would be that. So, of course, in my mind, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is what it looks like in Tenacious D, which I know is not even close to what it actually looks like, but like that's what that's what my brain connects with. So, but yeah, before we get into anything too crazy, we want to talk about movies that we've seen. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about movies we've seen. We're going to talk about we just went to Spark of Madness, so we're going to kind of recap that. It's been a while since we've had a podcast, so
yes, it has.
We have a lot to cover. And then we also were just at Cinegear, which is like one of my most favorite events in LA. And so this is my second year going. This is your third going?
I mean,
third or fourth?
This is probably my 5th or 6th.
Nice.
Because I went pre-pandemic over at Paramount a couple times. They weirdly did it at the LA Convention Center one time that
whoa,
didn't feel right.
Yeah, that feels funny.
Yeah, it was weird. Of course, it was at Warner Brothers a few years ago. In the last few, it's been at Universal. Honestly, I think Universal is it's the sweet spot for it. I really like it.
I hope it stays there. Yeah, that would be so sick if they just keep it going. So yeah, it had a great time. But yeah, we'll get into the deeps in that. So Tim, without taking the entire show, that sounded mean. That like you don't. I just mean you see a lot of movies. That's all I was trying to say.
I see a shit ton of movies.
So tell us what you see.
Real quick, I'm going to start two things of television.
Okay.
Finished this series finale of Hacks. Ended beautifully. Very sad to see that show end. But if you had not watched Hacks, dive on into it. As well as Rooster, that the first season is available on HBO Max now with Steve Carell.
I keep hearing amazing things about Rooster.
Yeah, phenomenal show. And also on the second to last episode now of Widow's Bay that just came out technically today, but as my wife and I were watching last night, Apple sometimes runs on East Coast time, and it's like 9:30, and all of a sudden the next episode started. I was like, oh, this doesn't come out until tomorrow. But yeah, that show it's been interesting. I think it's another one of those where I think a lot of non-horror people watch these kind of shows, and things that none of us perceive as like being super scary, people find super scary.
Sure.
So like, I kind of went into it with kind of false expectations.
Oh,
Like I was
interesting.
expecting like something insanely horror ridden. It's definitely like spooky and thrillery. It's a very fun show, but yeah, it's one of those where some people are like, this is so terrifying. It's not our level of what I think we would deem as being super terrifying, but yeah, great performances, very well written, funnier than I expected it to be. But then you start seeing the people in the credits that make the show, and you're like, oh, these are all funny people. So like it's no surprise to me there. But yeah, that has been a very, very fun show
Hell yeah.
on Apple TV. It's starring Matthew Rhys. I always love Matthew Rhys, and yeah, he is phenomenal. I mean, I'm very excited to see how the first season ends, because like we have started picking up into some just like bonkers ass stuff in it. So yeah, it's been a very fun show, but don't expect it to be something insanely horror ridden. As some people online have tried to make it out to be. It's not, something like that. It's got its spooky feels, and there's definitely like there was a moment in an episode we watched last night that Vanilla and I both jumped. Like it was a good jump scare.
Nice.
So, but yeah, very, very fun show though. Really have been enjoying it. So movies.
Movies. Here we go.
As I crack my knuckles. One that I actually wanted to see in the theaters and never like I tried to go. I had one day I was heading out to see it and like saying bye to the cat, like I'll be back home. She gave me the biggest guilt trip for leaving. And I got out to my car and I felt so bad. I canceled my tickets and went back in just to hang out with the cat. So I never saw, and that movie was The Surfer with Nicolas Cage. Weird movie. Very weird movie.
Sure.
As only Nicolas Cage could do.
Right.
But I loved it. It was very, very fun. Yeah, it's weird. I still don't even know 100% if I understood it. But yeah,
that's when you've seen a good Nick Cage movie.
Yeah, it was very, very fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed The Surfer. I can't remember which thing I streamed it on. I think it was Hulu. Two that we'll get back to in a little bit here that you and I both want to talk about. Saw The Devil Wears Prada 2. I know that was one you were very excited about as well. I had to go back and rewatch the first one because I didn't remember it. Such a great movie.
Nice.
And The Devil Wears Prada 2, I think, is a very nice homage to the original, and still a very fun movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the second one. The next one, we'll dive right into some of that Curry Barker territory. Milk and Cereal, the first feature that he and Cooper Tomlinson did. They made it for $800.
Nice.
And like on a camcorder that he later sold for $100. It is very weird in the best way possible. Such a unique concept. It's creepy as shit. Anybody that's wondering if Curry should be doing the Texas Chainsaw, yeah, he should be.
Oh, yeah. There's
certain aspects of Milk and Cereal that are such a tip of the hat to certain things where I was like, oh, that's fucking terrifying. Like, so I'm very excited about that. And then a couple of the shorts that he did, one called Warnings, that I really enjoyed. That was a fun one.
Well, that's
and
a good
then
one.
This just made me laugh. He had one called The Chair that right at the same time, we made one called The Chair about somebody who basically finds a chair. There's something up with it. They bring it home and it's possessed. His was the same basic concept. And it was one that I watched. And I think I even sent you a text. And I was like, why is he so goddamn good? Because it's like not that what we made was bad, but he's just so fucking good. Like we both had the same basic concept, and yeah, his is just wow. Like I was thoroughly impressed with it. Then I saw In the Gray, the new movie with it's heavily advertised as Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill.
Oh, sure, Guy Ritchie, right?
Yeah, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. But I don't want to take credit away from the lead actress because it's more her movie than anything. Isa Gonzalez. She is fantastic in it. She was really, really good. But yeah, very, very fun movie that, yeah, I would encourage people to check out if you can still find it. Of course, Mandalorian and Grogu. Anytime I get to watch little Grogu run around, especially with Babu Frick and his pals, I'm happy. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Mandalorian and Grogu. Does it feel like it's just like a big extended episode? Yeah, what did you think you were going to get out of it? Like, Every time a TV show gets made into a movie and people are like, "It felt like a big episode," it's like, holy shit, you're kidding! The
Mm,
TV show felt like a longer TV show? Like, just shut up and enjoy it. It's fun. That
yeah,
like you're going to it because you liked the TV show. Why
sure.
are you expecting something different?
Yeah.
Like and the TV show has made it such high quality as it is
Mhm.
that yeah, it's my only gripe I've ever had with Mandalorian, because we of course know they use the volume walls to like use the background of planets, is don't pick national landmarks that people go to on vacation, like Horseshoe Bend in Lake Powell, because that took me out of it every single time. I was like, that's fucking Southern Utah. Like I've been there numerous times. Like you
Mhm.
can't, and people from Page, Arizona and stuff come up right like yeah, it was one of those where it's like that's a very recognizable spot that people visit. Like I'm pretty sure it's even a screensaver on a lot of computers. So I was like,
Gotcha.
yeah, don't pick those spots. Then I had also watched, you know, I'm talking all these current movies. Movie I had somehow never seen before. My Best Friend's Wedding. With
Nice.
is it Dermot Mulroney?
I don't know
Yeah,
their name.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. And
Mm,
then Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts.
Very very sweet movie. Really enjoyed that. You know, 20 something years late to it. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed My Best Friend's Wedding. Of course, I'm always jumping into rom-coms to you know,
Yeah.
prep for the rom-com we're also working on.
I grew up with my mom loved that movie, so I grew
Yeah,
up and I actually memorized the moment I wake up before I put on my makeup, which is such a great moment in the movie.
that's how you wake up each morning now.
Exactly.
Watched Roommates on Netflix with Chloe East and Sadie Sadler, Adam Sandler's daughter. Very fun movie as well. So, I mean, it's again one of those that people want to shit on, you know, just a basic kind of comedy. Let him be a comedy. Like it's a fun movie. It's exactly what it was supposed to be. Really enjoyed that. I put In the Gray on my list twice. Passenger, check that out. Very intrigued. They actually were on the lot for like a week, and I would love to know what they ended up shooting there. Because I kept trying to watch for like, but they were inside a soundstage, and so I don't know. Like, there's so many things, and like they had the van that they're using in the movie like parked outside a couple of days, and so even more so, I'm like, you know, I want to know what this is. Very interesting concept. Like it was a cool concept. I just wish I knew more about the characters. Like I felt like it was kind
I've
of
heard
lacking in
that.
telling me like who the characters really were. Like you get a taste of it,
Mhm.
but then you're just kind of in it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like there's some great creepy moments to Passenger. I also saw The Breadwinner with the
Nice.
Nate Bargatze movie that Eric Appel directed. If people can't enjoy this movie, it makes me sad for them. Like a lot of things are based on Nate Bargatze's stand up. He's one of my favorite stand up comedians.
Mm,
Eric Appel, of course, also directed Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and I mean, you have just a bunch of great comedic actors in this film as well. Mandy Moore plays his wife; she's fantastic. But it is very much your '90s dad comedy.
mhm.
Like I don't know how people can not like what it is. It again is it's the movie it's supposed to be. If you go in expecting anything different than it, that's on you for not liking
Yeah.
it. Like you get very much what it is from the trailer. You've got a horse running through the house and things collapsing through the roof. Like it is very much yeah, a wacky comedy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just let it be what it is. It is delightful.
Let it be.
Yeah, let it be. And then the last one on my list that I had recently seen was Masters of the Universe and had a very good time with it. So
Nice. I do
again,
think I'm
another
gonna
one of
pop
those.
in and see that one.
Yes, definitely do. It's very very fun. It's very nostalgia ridden. Any of us that grew up with the cartoons and the toys, like it was made for us. The casual viewer that knows nothing about it might not really enjoy it that much because you know, it very much is made for us. And I know people are skeptical of that have this extreme hatred for Jared Leto. He is fucking great as Skeletor. He is he is wonderful. I even have you can't see it as well right now, but my Skeletor popcorn bucket I am yet to open.
Nice.
The eyes light up on this thing and all. As I go to a movie later today, I'm hoping to grab the Castle Grayskull one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that one's
The
pretty
sword
amazing.
looks awesome.
The sword looks awesome. It's just not practical.
Oh, yeah, no, no.
It is so big, and I was just like, I'm not carrying that thing around with me. And it's like $50. And I'm like, I'm not paying $50 for a cup sword.
Giant sword, yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have the Castle Grayskull that's about the same price.
Makes
but
sense.
then rest of this week, so today, now you're going to laugh as I tell you this, I'm finally going to see I Love Boosters. Now, I said that to you on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was supposed to have seen it earlier in the week and had to cancel my tickets. And so Saturday, I was like, okay, I'm going to this. I'm going to see I Love Boosters. I had my tickets at Universal. We were at Cinegear. I was like, I'm going to ride the little trolley up to the top, grab some lunch, and then go see it. They would not let me do that.
Interesting.
Yes, they were like, no, you're here for the convention. I'm like, right, but I'm going up top to like grab lunch and, go around for like a little bit and come back. Like, no, you can't do that. Like, otherwise people could cheat out paying for parking. And I was like, but I'm not trying to cheat out paying for parking. Like, I'm here as part of something. Like, I can't go elsewhere. They're like, no. Like, they wouldn't even let me walk out if I wanted to walk up. Like, yeah. So I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, it's $5. So I pull in, like I drive around, I go to pull back in to pay for parking. For whatever fucking reason, my card declines. I have more than enough money sitting in there, like to the point where like I'm pulling up my bank because I'm like, did my account get hacked or whatnot? Like I'm asking like the parking attendant, can you just try it again? Can you please? And because it's only like $5 and it's declining, like I had to show them my account to be like, I have money. Like I'm not declining on $5. Like I have monies.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I would just call your bank. It's a Saturday afternoon. I can't call my bank. So I just canceled the tickets. But then I was like, I can drive up the street and still get there in time to see it. But at that point, I also really needed to pee. My drink for the movie, I wasn't planning to buy concessions. I was just going to bring my water bottle in. Well, I'm not bringing that into the restroom with me. That's disgusting. I also have a very nice hydro flask. I'm not just going to sit that down in the theater and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just canceled those tickets and just went home. So
at that point, today, I don't blame you.
Yeah, today is the last day I can really see it because I think it's out of theaters, I think, after today. So, yeah, I am making a point. I will see I Love Boosters today. And then after that, double feature today, seeing Power Ballad, the new movie with Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas. And then, of course, tomorrow, Disclosure Day, the new Spielberg movie.
Which is getting a lot of great
feedback. I'm very, very excited for it. So
yeah.
But there's
definitely.
my quarter of the podcast.
Yeah.
What about you, Waddy?
We only have 40 minutes left. So I've been playing a lot of the new James Bond games. So that's really kicked me off into watching some old James Bond movies. I bought a Goldfinger on
I've never been able to say it right since Goldmember became a thing.
Yeah, I got that on 4K, and so I watched that, and I'm starting to kind of make my way through them. I also haven't seen, I think, the last two new ones, so I need to, take the time and make that. And yeah, so that's what. Oh, and then I finished my very first season of. We were not going with the first season. Chris just went up there, but RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh yes.
So that was really cool seeing that for the first time. It's one of my partner's favorite shows, and so I totally get it now. I'm very excited.
I love Drag Race. It's a very good show.
Definitely. Not pumped about the movie, unfortunately, with the AI allegations, but we'll see about that. We don't need to dive into that, unfortunately, as much as I hate AI.
Wait, do we have strong feelings about AI, Waddy? Will that derail everything that we want to talk about?
We're AI. This is an AI podcast. Yeah, but then apart from the two that we're going to talk about here in a second, the other movie that I saw was Scary Movie, which is a very good time. I knew what I was going into. I know that I wasn't going in to see, the masters of comedy.
Yeah.
No, and not even that. Like I wasn't going in it I see White Chicks. I love all the Scary Movies, especially the second one. Second one's my favorite. Sorry, I shouldn't say I love all the Scary Movies. I like the Wayne Brothers ones, and then the third one I would even say because growing up my growing up religious, my parents never let me watch rated R movies. So when Scary Movie 3 came out and it was PG-13, it was like one of the first ones where I was like, oh, I could actually see this one.
Yeah.
Anyways, I had a great time. It was fun, and there's some great moments in it and some that aren't great, and I knew that going into it. So, but I'm glad I saw it in a theater, and I'm glad that
I'm seeing it next week in the theaters.
Nice. And yeah, it was a good time with seeing it with people who were also fans of that franchise, and it did really well in the box office. So we'll
105
see.
million, I think, opening weekend.
Yeah, on like a
Yeah.
$10 million budget or something.
Yeah.
So excited to maybe there'll be more. Maybe there'll be a White Chicks. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that people would allow today, which is sad. But yeah, and I don't mean that as like sounding like like a right wing Republican. If anything, I feel like the right wing's who's going to have a problem with it. I don't. So, anyways,
Yeah, I mean, it's pointing a finger and satirically looking at the way that, you
exactly.
know, yeah, blackface and stuff had been done in the past. Like, it's I mean, Eddie Murphy did it better than anybody from the
My
SNL
gosh.
sketch, but
So good. Yeah. And then, yeah. But yeah. So I think let's first talk about Demonetize with Panic Fest. So
yes.
we went to Panic Fest, which
You
was
mean Spark of
a blast.
Madness.
Spark of Madness, gosh, Spark of Madness, Panic Fest. Yeah, sorry, Spark of Madness, which was a blasty blast. You know, Pocatello is a small town, and you know, my family grew up in Rexburg, Idaho, so like we would pass by Pocatello
I
on our
don't think
way
I
up to
knew that.
Rexburg. Oh yeah, that's where all my family, like my grandparents, that's where they were born and raised. And then they moved to Utah and started a family. So, but yeah, it was cool to one, my family. This is the first time my family has seen the movie, so I was very nervous. They saw my first movie, Bundy Manor, which does have swearing and gore, but you know, this is to 100. So,
Yeah.
like, I would love to actually go through and count how many fucks there are in Demonetized, because I think it's quite a bit.
Yeah, it is
And
quite a bit. Even when
and
I
I'll
showed
tell
my
you,
parents the trailer, I had to be like, "Now, this is what's called a red band trailer."
yeah. Yeah, and I had to like, and you know, it became so I've never really thought about it until my mom was sitting next to me. So yeah, but it was great to get a reaction from like a crowd that's like not an LA crowd. Not that Panic Fest was either, but just not an LA crowd, not necessarily even like a horror crowd, because Spark of Madness, I know madness makes you think that it is a horror festival, but it actually wasn't at all. It was just a general film festival. And so we got a wide range of different people there. And
And a very good crowd for the
yeah,
fact that, it's because it was held at Idaho State University, and school's done, like, it's quiet over there. Again, Pocatello's small town. I would say half of the people had driven up from Utah probably. And, good crowd, a very good crowd. And not to take a dig at Pocatello, but there's not much going on in Pocatello. And I think Spark of Madness is going to be a festival that kind of puts them on the map a little bit. Like,
yeah,
I thought it was very well done. Really enjoyed meeting John, who put on the festival. Yeah, like
yeah.
they've done a really good job for a first year festival, to making everybody feel welcome. I mean, I even have my Spark of Madness mug. Hey,
Hey,
right
and that
there.
was really nice. Huh, blank.
Show the logo, Tim.
There you go. Yeah, I just had a blast, and then I think what was another interesting thing that was different from Panic Fest was that there was a lot of like newish filmmakers
Yeah.
there, and you know, because at Panic Fest there was a lot like the same level as us. That sounds, and I'm not trying to like, there were some incredibly talented filmmakers there. So again,
Yeah,
I'm not
some
trying
great
to.
short films.
Yeah, great short films, great, you know, great features, great cool people. But it was really cool to talk to them after and having them come up to us and be like, you know, like asking for advice or asking like you know, tips and tricks. And like Janine actually had like a couple people like run up to her and be like, tell me about, you know, how it was spitting up. Well, I got to be careful, but don't want to spoil it yet. But yeah, so yeah, it's just a really cool, fun experience, and a good variety of films, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future. And if you didn't see, guys, they also awarded Demonetize. We got our first award, which is the Best Screenwriting Award.
Yes.
So shout out to Janine as well, who helped write that, and it was really fun to see her beaming about
Yeah.
it. I don't think she's won an award for screenwriting before, and so she was just like, I love her. She, you know, she likes to play it cool, you know, but you could really kind of tell, like, through it that she was just like she was pretty pumped.
And
So
I loved you guys trying to call me. You guys were FaceTiming me to tell me, and I'm literally like driving down Redwood Road in Salt Lake City, headed to like return my rental car. Like I'm literally like a stoplight from turning into the parking lot. And so like I hit answer and you guys are like, no, you need to look at it. I'm like, I'm trying to drive here because like I didn't have a dash mount. And you're like, just look for 2 seconds. And so like I quickly just like grab my phone and look at it. Kids don't do that. And then I was able to see the trophy for best screenplay. But yeah, I didn't realize you guys were like trying to record to get her reactions.
it's okay.
So yeah,
We got
it's
a good
my
one from
camera.
Josh.
You did get a good one from Josh. Yeah, my camera's just facing down, looking at nothing. And then I think you got the outside of my front window because I also didn't think, hey, I should probably turn around the camera if they're FaceTiming me.
It's all good. We didn't want you to crash. But yeah,
Yeah, it was
very
very, very
honored.
exciting.
Yeah, very honored to have received that award. And yeah, so that was really cool. Excited to, yeah, again, see where they go from there. And then last week, we got to go to Cinegear, which, if you all don't know, we talked about it before. It is kind of like a film cruise Christmas. They, at least the last 2 years, they had it on the Universal lot, like literally like the town square from Back to the Future, Gremlins, and now Ted. Well, I think they turn it
And
into the
Rutherford
school.
Falls.
Everything
Yeah,
is
yeah.
filmed there.
It's been there's been so much, and it looks so much like Warner Brothers Midwest Street that people always confuse the two.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And Disney has a Golden Oak Ranch that also has an area that looks almost
Oh, that's
identical.
funny. I didn't even know that. Yeah, so it's cool. It and as me being the biggest Back to the well, I want to be careful because I know there's some people that live, breathe, and die Back to the Future, but I am a big fan of Back to the Future, and so it was also my 10th anniversary of moving out to LA, like literally on the day. So I'm making a documentary because I made a documentary when I first moved out here. My first year, I like filmed a video a month, just giving tips and tricks. And now that it's been 10 years, I'm updating that video. So keep an eye out for that. I filmed some stuff at Cinegear, which was really fun. But this year was a little different at Cinegear in a sense that we've when we were at Cinegear the year before, Demonetize was in post-production, and so we were still just kind of like doing our thing, but like this time around, like people were, I don't know, I just think they could tell we were a little more professional. That sounds so weird to say, but like,
We were real boys.
yeah, but people were just coming up to us and I just had more to talk about and like,
Yeah. We knew what
meeting
the fuck we were
people.
talking about. Not that we didn't before, but like I think there was a confidence
There, I think
to
that's
us.
what it was. And being in Panic Fest is like that's like a really big honor. And so like people who knew what festival we were talking about before. No offense, I love Bundy Manor, and I really appreciate the festivals that accept there you go, who accepted Bundy Manor. But Panic Fest is like a known festival, and
Yeah.
so telling people we've been to Panic Fest and then being like, whoa, like that's cool, congrats, and then wanting to know more, and then giving us free stuff because they want to work with us, and
But
and
even when we were looking at cameras and like it was weird to be like, yeah, like as you would kind of be like, yeah, Tim's one of the producers, and all of a sudden people are like, he has money, and I'm like, no, I don't.
they don't need to know that.
Yeah, they don't need to
They
know
don't need to
that,
know
but
that.
they quickly would kind of like change their tune of like, that me, but not that we didn't understand camera specs and stuff before, but we certainly understand them at a different level now.
Yeah.
And so I think if anything too, aside from the confidence, it made us appreciate certain things a little bit more. I mean, we've used Shot Deck for probably 5 years at least now, like on all sorts of things. And I think that might have been the thing both of us were most excited by
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
looking at all the new stuff. And Shot Deck even posted my post about, hey, like
I
their new
saw
stuff coming
you were
is
basically
insane.
the way
I was
they
the
announced
announcement.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the announcement that yeah, new stuff is coming from Shot Deck that changes entirely how you use the platform. And for those of you
Yeah.
not familiar with Shot Deck, it basically lets you build storyboards and whatnot off of using actual footage. So you can
Right.
even show camera movement that you want and certain lighting composition. And it really gives you like a much more refined way being able to build storyboards to work with your cinematographers and your gaffers to really achieve the look that you want.
Instead of using AI,
Yeah,
Martin
Scorsese.
Scorsese.
Yeah, and I mean, nothing against like hand-drawn storyboards. I mean, I
Right.
love hand-drawn storyboards, but if I showed you guys my hand-drawn storyboards, you would be concerned that I was afflicted with some kind of severe issue because my stick people don't look like stick people. They all they look severely traumatized. So yeah, like the new stuff that Shot Deck had, like it was something you and I were both very excited about. But the Sony booth is the other thing that you and I both always love. And prior to Demonetize, I know we were talking about this. I had never really been much of a fan of Sony. I'll be totally honest. Did not care for a lot of their cameras. The Venice was starting to slowly win me over. And then once we shot Demonetize on the Venice, like, yeah, I was very, very, very won over.
Yeah.
And then
The
Sony was
Venice
like,
2.
hold our beer.
Yeah.
Here's the Venice 2.
Oh my gosh, and it is such a beautiful camera.
Woo!
Very expensive, but my
Yeah.
god, it looks so good. And the fact that you can detach the sensor and like basically mount it or use it smaller, or we were, that's something Ferguson was showing me. Me and Ferguson got invited to a Sony Cinegear kickoff party.
Yes.
And so we got to go and like check out a bunch of like Sony specific stuff. So that was really cool to see what they have cooking up. You never know what you're going to shoot your films on. Sometimes you just kind of the roll of the dice. Like Demonetize, it was because we had an investor who had that package, and so that's just where the route we went. I'm glad we did. But you kind of just want the best but cheapest option, and so you just kind of see. But if I had it my way and I had the budget to pick, more than likely I'm going to be picking the Sony. Like I Sony Venice 2 specifically, because we could just come up with some fun things with that. If I had unlimited money, I'd want IMAX, but
Yeah.
we're
Which we did get to see the new IMAX camera too.
That was sick. Yeah. Whew, it's cool. But yeah, and again, even then, would I film a drama or a horror that's like I don't think a movie like Obsession, we'll get there. I don't think a movie like Obsession, it adds anything to film it on IMAX. While if you filmed, all these big actiony, and again, I know there's some
Odyssey or Oppenheimer, like
Chris Nolan stuff.
It adds to the it adds to what you're watching when you see it, shot like the without getting too nerdy, because I know not like when you're looking at the 70 millimeter and you're looking at the 35 millimeter and you're looking at the way that the light sensor changes by that frame, like so much changes just by using it on the IMAX in those different film formats, that yeah, it's just astounding. But yeah, I mean, what we're doing, what some of these other horror filmmakers are doing, yeah, we don't need an IMAX camera
Yeah.
for that. To me, it's like the film school kid who immediately is like, I am going to shoot my 5-minute short film on a Red or an Ari. We're like, you're going to pick up a DSLR and you're going to like it.
Yeah, especially when you try and get your editor to edit with the Red codec, which is just the
biggest pain in the ass in the entire world.
It really
is. The footage it's so big and it takes so fucking long to export. And I will never forget the first time I shot on a Red, and I was like, yeah, here we go. And I was telling Sadiq, I sat in the editing bay for probably an extra hour or two, just waiting for things to download and export.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the greatest nightmare in the entire world.
I gotta say, anyone out there who's looking to buy a Cine camera, so say you've had a DSLR and you're looking to go a bit above, Blackmagic, man. Blackmagic has incredible. That's what we shot our first film, Bundy Manor, on. We did it with the Ursa 12K, and it just looks phenomenal. And like Roman and Denver,
so well to DaVinci now as well, where they have built-in settings,
right?
And
from the same company, so it makes sense. And the thing I would say too is like we used Ari LUTs, so like we were really kind of toning it into that, and so it just it looks and out of anything, I will say, people will come up to me and be like, "Wow, Bundy Manor does not look like a 60K film. Maybe other aspects, sure, but like the look of it just is like, and I think that's a big, big factor. So shout out to yeah, Roman and Denver. But yeah, Cindy Gear was so great, and got a lot of fun, cool stuff. My one of my favorites is
Yeah.
and this, which is
Yep.
which
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Our little
highlighters.
highlighter slate.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, our WB mug. I've already drank out of mine. It's on the drying rack right now.
yeah. So good times, and I can't wait for next year. And I highly recommend if you ever get a chance to be a part of it, especially if you are crew focused. Actor focused, I can see why maybe it's not necessarily. It's definitely crew focused.
Yeah,
So
it's not a needed thing if you're an actor, but at the same time, I think it's highly beneficial if you're an actor.
sure.
Understand kind of what you're working around and working with. I mean, yeah, your primary job is to go and deliver a performance, but it's certainly I think it's a good way to respect furthermore what the crew is doing
Mm-hmm.
to be able to build into the success of the film because yeah, you're nothing without your crew.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, it was such a good time, and it was we ran into Ferguson and Lexi, his partner, but also like she is an incredible director and producer and actress herself. Then we ran into Daniel, who I'm actually meeting later for dinner or
Yeah, who's our
for lunch.
gaffer.
Who's our gaffer, and it was so fun to meet him because we met him at one of the lighting booths, and so one of the people who like created the lights that he's showcasing heard that Daniel gaffed our movie, and I don't know if gaff's a word, but was a
It is
gaffer on our
now.
movie. Yeah, and it was just fun. And then again, they offered us to play with their lighting for free, which was really cool. So yeah, great time. Can't wait for another chance for that. But yeah, so now to the moment that we're both been waiting for. We are in such a fun time as indie horror creators, and with so two movies came out this last, well, I guess couple weeks. I guess 2 weeks ago is when Backrooms came out, and then a
Yeah,
couple weeks
Backrooms is
before
2
that,
weeks, and it's been a month for,
Obsession.
since Obsession.
Yeah, it's just really cool to be in this time. I've seen both. Tim has seen both. A lot
You
of
and I were both
discussion.
big fans of Kane Parsons going into it. It was like we
Yeah,
had both followed the Backrooms series and stuff on YouTube and on Instagram. Like, yeah, it was something that I think you and I were probably more excited about that because we weren't entirely familiar with Curry's work.
yeah, I
But
was with his comedy, but yeah, not much of his horror stuff. And I love liminal spaces. My current movie, which we did announce, not my current movie, but the future movie that I'm working on is very liminal spaces. And I've been working on that for a year. So it was kind of
yeah,
fun to see that Backrooms is doing well because yeah, I just, that's the kind of the same world that I want to play in as well.
one thing I do want to say to people that might still be on the fence about Backrooms because I've had a number of people come up and ask me about like oh like I've heard it doesn't make sense I've heard like and they're getting way too in their heads about seeing this movie
Totally.
and I've told everybody go and watch the YouTube series
Hmm.
like if you are on the fence about it go because for one it will answer certain questions that the movie doesn't necessarily answer but I think it's going to set up your expectations for what the movie's going to be
100%. Yeah.
because yeah, there are definitely people I know that came to me after seeing it that had no idea there was a YouTube series.
Hmm.
And as soon as I was like, oh, well, see, there's this like, kind of character we see again. And, they answer like who these people are. So like there's so much more. And there's certain things with the YouTube series that I kind of like better than the movie. But yeah, it's such a fun movie. But yeah, where I know have been a lot of people on the fence about it. Definitely watch the YouTube series. Like it's a
Yeah.
very fun watch. It's not a long watch, and
Yeah.
yeah, definitely
There's
check that out.
also videos that just recap and kind of help you understand. So, like Film Theory, I highly recommend watching their coverage of it. Also, my buddy Caden Watson, he does the Movie Club on TikTok. There's no relation, but
I was gonna be
But
like, this sounds like nepotism.
but yeah, he has a really great TikTok where he breaks down also the back rooms. And I got to give props to the director. He started, I believe, at 16 or 17 learning Blender, which is actually more of a video game
Yeah.
software, but he used that to create, and sometimes he would mix live action and, the Blender with it, but most of it is in Blender. And it's incredible the stuff that he could create. And it's again, I would say that the movie compared, and it's hard not to compare it to Obsession, mostly because they came out so close. They're very different horror movies, but
Very, very different.
yeah, but they came out at the same time, or well, close to the same time. They're both, I believe, done by Blumhouse, I believe.
No, Focus is the one
Well,
that
it's really funny because Blumhouse keeps posting a ton about them both. So I mean, we're all celebrating.
I
So
think
I think that's
Blumhouse
what it
came in
is.
to help with a little bit of the distro, but it was Focus bought Obsession at TIFF.
It's funny you say that because I swear I just saw an article that said how much Jason Blum is making from Obsession.
Yeah, the Blumhouse is making like 17 million.
Wait, but then you just said that they didn't.
No, because I think they're part of the distribution.
Right. But that's all I was saying because they've been
Oh, yeah.
posting about Obsession and Backrooms, and
Yeah, Focus is the one that has the full distribution rights.
sure, but they're still a part of both of them in some capacity. Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Gotcha.
But yeah, but it's been really cool to see with Backrooms, and now going to Obsession. There's a lot that I want to talk about with Obsession. I mean, I think it's a fantastic film. I think it's definitely so far one of my favorite horror movies of this year. And I love how simple, I say simple, but contained. That's a better word to say it. It's a contained horror, which always does well. A lot of horror filmmakers understand that, made for relatively cheap, cheap is, I know that's kind of a funny thing to say, but
750,000 is cheap
in the movie
film
industry.
terms,
yeah. And it's exciting to see this happen. And like the film industry has always kind of not given horror films much like time, even though they've been like the pretty constant money makers for like relatively cheap. And it's interesting
though.
though.
Blumhouse is so successful is because they've been doing this forever of making horror films on a relatively low budget. And Jason Blum had even recently come out and said how we needed to be focused on some of these under $1 million because we could do so much and the return was so high. So like, he has really been coming on board and recognizing more and more the value of what a lot of us independent filmmakers are. We're working the best within our means, and he's recognizing more and more the value of that.
Yeah, there is a little bit of like worry that I have with it though, where it's like, okay, we're not going to give them a big budget because we've seen what happens with Obsession.
Right.
And I hope, like, it's already hard enough to make a living in the industry. And so I am a little worried about, but what I will say with Obsession, they for the most part did it on their own, literally here, like literally in the part of the town where I live.
Yeah, I realize I drive past the Green Man every single day. That is the shop that he buys the one Wish Willow in. I was like, oh yeah, I'd see that shop every single day.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, Chris have been in there twice before the movie came out because, it legitimately is a Chris, like that's not a set.
Yeah.
That is actually the store.
That's the actual store. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just cool. But yeah, it's just a very exciting time for the industry and us as creators that hope to get a slice of the pie. There's a few things to take from it that I don't think are being talked about too much. Like, for one, a lot of people are saying this is his debut feature. No, this is not his debut
Serial
feature.
was his feature.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's important to remember because Hollywood loves to say, oh, Kane Parsons and Curry are complete overnight successes and they've never created anything in their lives, but like they have all spent years working on
they've been
their
busting
stuff.
their ass forever.
Yeah. And like,
and I mean, the same thing happened during the Oscar campaign. I can't remember if I had mentioned it on here, but Delroy Lindo went on a podcast. Delroy is a fucking legend who has been around for decades, and some like younger influencer is interviewing him, and I was like, so I mean, this is kind of like a breakout role for you, and he's like, excuse me.
Haha. Yeah, no, dog. Yeah, I think what's great about what's great that I love about Obsession, the scariest parts to me had no effects. Like, this isn't a spoiler, but there's a part where they're laying in bed and he's going to get a glass of water, and let's just say she says something creepy. That's it. Like, there's no like voice change, or there's no like crazy thing. It's
not,
just,
I wouldn't even say what she says is creepy. It's the manner that Indy is
so
just
good.
she's so still.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
The way she does it is, oh my God. Like,
yeah, it's incredible.
Like there's moments that Indy Navar, I know a lot of people are talking about her now and her performance and how brilliant it is. The things that she accomplished, I think every actor should learn from her in the way of how minimal certain things was that she did.
Yeah.
That had such a fucking impact. Like, I hope that she has just an incredible career. I mean, she's only 25.
Yeah, well, all of them are very young.
Yeah, all of them are very young, but to give the performance she gave, I'm still blown away by it. Like, it is by far one of my favorite movies of the year already.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're only in June here, folks, but like Obsession's one that will stick with me for a long fucking time.
And it's funny because at least for me, I kind of put it along the same thing as Hereditary, where I don't know if I'm going to see it again, because Hereditary is really hard for me. Even though it's my favorite horror movie of like the past 10, 15 years, I guess it's over that now, 20 years.
No, it's only been about 15.
Well, but 15, but I said 10, and I was out here in LA 10 years ago, and it was before that. So, or no, it was 2018 that it came out, I think. I don't know. Anyways, it's just interesting to, see these films but there's a part of me that gets down on myself, just to be completely upfront, where I'm like, I'm 36. I know Curry is at 25 or 26 or something
26,
like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I think of myself at 26, and I'm like, again, I just moved out to LA when I was 26. So like, I am kind of, like,
you try not to compare yourself, but you can't help sometimes.
Yeah. But then I think you actually liked this post too, where it kind of went into like directors in their 40s and how
Ridley Scott didn't direct Alien until he was like 40, and
which is so crazy to me to think about.
Was like 43 when he directed his first one, and like like your time comes when your time comes. You just have to keep putting in the work and doing the work. And I Seth Rogen has said it several times, like, the worst thing you can do is quit.
Mm-hmm.
So because then you're never gonna make it. Like that, like if you're we may not be, a Curry Barker or a Kane Parsons yet, and who knows if we ever reach that level of what they have done.
Yeah.
But all we can keep doing, like, we played with Obsession. We lost to Obsession and Panic Fest.
Right.
Like, Demonetize will forever be notched right there with Obsession as a loser.
Crazy. Yeah.
But we're playing in that same sandbox, and it's wild to even think that. Like I said, to look at, his short film The Chair and be like, literally at the exact same time, he and I both had the same concept. And if you don't think I looked at that and was like, I mean, I thought my concept was good.
Well, like, and to even say that too, his next movie is about ghost hunters who are faking their ghost hunts, and they find an actual ghost, which is kind of similar to what we're doing with Demonetize. And I'm not mad at that. It's very clear that he didn't take that. There's no way he could have seen Demonetize. But
and it's not the most. it's an original idea, but there have been other like
Yeah, there's been ghost
I mean
hunters
I
for
mean
a
one of the
while.
one of my favorite negative reviews we have had, which it tickles me, is people that are like, I hate influencer horror, but this one was better than most. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for the low star rating because
Mm-mm.
you went and saw a genre of movie that you don't like and still didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't understand. That's like being like, I don't like being kicked in the balls, but at least you didn't wear steel-toed boots. Like, come on. Like, if you don't like something, don't trash the film because you went and saw something you knowingly
Yeah.
didn't like a genre of.
And believe me, we can get into
But
that.
people, but they were still complimentary,
Yeah.
and so I think that's kind of cool that like we could still get like yeah, it's just funny the way that these kind of things shake out, and yeah, we can't compare ourselves. We just
Yeah.
have to keep making what we're making and get into our on and just be honest with our work. And
And be excited when this happens. Like,
yes,
yes, I think naturally, unfortunately, our bodies are, or and maybe it's just like where I was growing up with siblings, or I don't know where it comes from, but like there is some jealousy and there is some like I want to play too. Like, that's the feeling I get when I see these huge successes. But it will impact us. It might be very small. It might be big, but you're absolutely right. We're like we have to be ready for it. And like we have really kicked into high gear both of our films. Like Tim's working on one, I'm working on one. And the only reason I've really kicked mine into high gear cuz it's still like in the early stages is because it is liminal spaces. And I do think
yeah,
that
and
there is
people are
going to be
interested in that.
yeah. And so it is interesting. One thing I think is fascinating though, kind of to touch on your review thing is that I have found it interesting that because as you put out your film into the world, you're going to get reviews, and we could probably talk all day about Letterbox and all that stuff later. But it is interesting to get that feedback and unfiltered feedback. But I will say what I found interesting between the Backrooms and Obsession, a lot of people are criticizing Backrooms because it doesn't have as much jump scares. And what's kind of frustrating as a filmmaker, because I love like Mike Flanagan, where sure, there's jump scares, but they're very sparse. And it's really more of like tone, and it's really more like leading up to something. And it just sucks that like I feel like some horror fans go into it being like almost like a stand-up comedian. Like they go in to see a stand-up comedian and be like, okay, how are you going to make me, like they put up a wall and they're like, how are you going to make, instead of just letting it take you on a journey, it's like, okay, but how are you going to scare me? And,
Right.
some horror movies, great. Like, I think they're tailored to that. I love Scream. I feel like it's all jump scares, not knocking it again, because I feel like that's just kind of, or not Scream, Smile.
Oh, yeah.
Smile is very like that. And it was advertised like that. So I knew going into it what kind of movie it was going to be. But I just, it kind of makes me sad. I feel like there's it's been interesting having to monetize out there where it's like, if there's not enough jump scares, it's a bad movie. If
it's too funny of a horror comedy, then it's
yeah,
then it's not
there's
then
been
it's not good. Like
yeah, there's been a very fascinating thing that I didn't know existed, that there is a group of horror fans that do not like horror comedy. Influencers, like, having influencers in your movie, I get it. Like, it's something that has been done, and, we're not going to be the last ones to do it either.
and we weren't the first to do
And
it.
we
So
weren't the first. Yeah. But it is
I mean, there's been
interesting.
probably 1,000 before us to do it. Like
Yeah. But it's just been really interesting to see the perspective of people and being like, there's horror purists, I guess, that
yeah,
I've noticed, that they're like, there's more laughing in this movie and I don't want anything to do with it, when I don't know, like I've seen people bash Dale and Tucker versus Evil, and that's like one of my favorite
yeah, it's
movies.
one of my favorites as well. And I mean, that one is by far more a comedy, and it's supposed to be
Yeah.
more a comedy. And yeah, people are somehow mad that again, it's one of those like, let a movie be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like stop writing the narrative in your head of what the filmmaker was supposed to do with their movie, with their story.
Yeah.
you can't just expect them to they're not making it just for you.
Yeah. And having said that, we're always open to critique, and that's just what
Yeah.
happens when you put out
Yeah, it's the nature of
stuff.
the beast.
Yeah, and we're kind of dancing around it, so I am just gonna say it. What I will not stand for, though, we had, I won't call him out by name, but I will say we had a I don't even know if I say critic, but we
It's not a
had
critic, it's somebody with a blog.
who did not like to monetize. Again, that is totally
That's
fine.
totally yeah, totally
Everyone
fine.
needs to do
Not
that.
not everyone's gonna like it.
However, I would go as far as to say they have been harassing one of our actors. I won't even go to say who,
Yeah.
but they are harassing one of our actors. And after reviewing watching the full review, because they posted clips and then they did a whole thing on on their YouTube channel, they refer to one of our actresses as the Asian influencer. And
Then even use another kind of derogatory term about their character.
yeah, and it's like, hey, so by all means criticize our movies, tell us how you feel about them. That's how we get better as filmmakers. But that kind of shit, like, I'm
No, it's
not going
not
to stand
okay.
for.
I don't care if you're the biggest critic in the world or if you are just some schmo with a blog who's never done anything and thinks that you have, any right to call yourself a film critic. But yeah, have some class.
Yeah.
Like it's just especially when this character at no point do we do anything to address their race as with any of the characters. Like I will always think back to something that was said. I did a thing that Rod Roddenberry, the son of Gene Roddenberry from Star Trek, and he runs tons of stuff still, like keeping his dad's memory alive and tons of stuff within the Star Trek community. And he said one time his dad was asked about, why aren't there, like gay characters or anything like that in Star Trek? And Gene Roddenberry responded, well, there are. There's plenty of them, but they're in such a evolved society that they don't need to go about just constantly addressing that. They live, in peace and harmony, and essentially love is love, and the race is, it's not an issue to them.
Hmm.
Sexuality is not an issue to them. They live in just a world that understands each other. And it was kind of the same thing with, we didn't need to address anybody's race
Yeah. Well,
or anything like that
and as
within the movie.
yeah, and as two white males, I don't think we ever should. Like, I think
No, it's not our place. There's
exactly.
certain things I will not, certain roles and things I will, and I want to say this carefully, that I don't want to cast certain people in because I don't want them to be portrayed in that light. Because I think that it's too much. And not saying I never would. If the right actor is the right actor and they are okay with playing, certain kinds of roles, that is their choice. But I never want to make anybody feel less because of a certain role that feels stereotypical to anybody.
Yeah.
And that is something that is horrifying to me, to see people do.
Yeah. And like, I demonetize there is a romance, but one, it's Janine is LGBTQ plus, so that she wrote it. But I think the reason why I felt comfortable directing it, again, like you said, love is love. Now if they had struggles of being a gay couple, I absolutely don't feel like I have any kind of, like, because I don't know what that's like, right? I don't know what it's like to have, and I mean that as like a political or discriminatory thing against them. Like, obviously I know what it's like to have struggles in relationships with other people. That's stuff I can direct and do. But
But we'll never truly understand what our, LGBTQ plus friends and that have gone through. Like we cannot speak for them. We can only
yeah, and we can
listen to their
amplify.
stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can amplify their voices. Like, I hope one day, if J-WAT gets big enough, like, I hope that we could, like, completely fund a LGBTQ plus, like, director, writer, all that stuff. Diversity
Yeah.
is always a big thing,
It's always a big thing for
conversation.
us.
Yeah, and so but again, I just really didn't love hearing, and we've had negative reviews for Demonetize. It's just, again, it's just what happens. You could probably make the most perfect movie in the world, and people are
We
going to
know
have
people
negative
that
things to
hated
say.
Obsession. That
Yeah.
it's wild. And I mean, you heard on one of our last episodes, our buddies Charlie and Doug that made Loner across the board has pretty much had very exemplary reviews.
I love it.
We know people that absolutely hated that movie. So it's,
I don't know
you're,
why,
you're
but
never going to please anybody. I mean, you go to Rotten Tomatoes, nobody's got 100% score because somebody didn't like it.
yeah,
Like years
except
and years and
Paddington.
years ago, when I worked doing fraud stuff for eBay,
Yeah.
people would always want to talk about, oh, but like my reviews, I'm not 100% now. And I was like, show me a business that is.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
it's just not, as long as it is subjective to how people feel about anything in life, you can't get hung up on, one person didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, we're not going to stand for people being derogatory towards not just our cast and crew, but anybody. Like, it's not okay, and we need to be better just as people about that. Like, it's not okay.
Yep, exactly. I do want to make, we are longer. This is going to be a longer podcast. Apologies. But hey, if you're making it this far, awesome. But I do want to address a really big thing that's a discussion that's been happening in the film community. I'm going to do this without bashing anyone in particular, or try to, because I feel like they already get that online on both sides.
Yes.
So basically, as some of you may or may not know, with the success of Obsession, some crew members, I know one specifically is getting dragged specifically, but there have been others talking about how much they made and compared to how the movie is, how successful it is. Now, I think it's important to address a few things about that. I mean, number one, how it works, I will say, is that, and I know everyone's going to get mad at first what I'm saying, because it sounds like I'm defending a certain point of view. I'm just educating
listen to this in full. Listen to this in full.
I'm just educating our audience who may not know. So Curry Baker, Barker, I always say that. He makes the movie $750K. With his crew, pays his crew. I will say what is interesting.
Let's pause right there for a second, because I've seen now people already twisting the narrative, saying, and a lot of crew is working for free. No, they were not.
I don't know. I have seen some posts that they say they have. I don't know what they can do to collaborate that. But again, I don't want to go too in the weeds of that, because I feel like that's speculatory.
But most of what we've seen, they have said they were paid. It's just about the rate.
Sure. And it's interesting that Demonetize made for $300K. We paid about the same. Now, we shot in a shorter amount of time. So,
yes.
But just to put that in perspective, now he goes off to put in festivals. It's interesting to hear him tell the story, because he actually sounds like some festivals weren't even accepting him, which is fascinating. That's crazy. He doesn't straight up say that, but he just talks about how before Tribeca, it was Tribeca, right?
It was TIFF.
TIFF, sorry. 2 T's. That's yeah. So TIFF, he was even going to just like say fuck it and post it on YouTube at a time, which is crazy. So he posts it, not post it, but he gets into TIFF. A bidding war happens. And it's between A24, Focus Features, and Neon. I'm sure there's others as well, but those were the 3 big ones. And he ended up going with Focus Features because they offered worldwide distribution. According to reports, we don't know for sure, but Curry specifically sold the film for $15K. So that's 15K.
15 million.
Imagine. $15 million. So that goes right to his production company. That's right to his. We don't know what other deals were made. Sometimes, this is very common, by the way. This isn't something this is standard, I should say. What Curry did with that money, put it into his production company, put it into his next movie. I don't know. That's up to him. Again, I'm not going to speculate.
First and foremost, paying back investors.
Maybe. We don't know the investor situation. We don't know anything. Normally, again, yes, they would pay back investors.
Would be where some of that would be going.
Yes, they would pay back investors and then whatever percentage they would get back from that. So Focus Features takes it, they distribute it, they get it out there. Focus takes majority of the money because they're marketing it, they're putting it out everywhere, but they do make the majority of the money. Yes, it sucks because Curry had 15, sold it for 15 million. Now, there could have been in the contracts, because this is also common, where if certain goals are met, they get kicked back more money. So potentially the production company got kicked back money because it hit certain milestones.
Yeah,
that is pretty common. Yeah. So again, I just wanted to kind of explain that because because there seems to be some confusion that Curry specifically is making.
Yeah, is pocketing 200 and whatever million, and
which is
half of that too goes to the theaters.
Sure.
Half of that goes to the theaters. The other half goes back to.
Well, actually, I would say even less. I would say even less than half goes back to the theaters. I think the theaters gets less of a chunk, which is why they charge so much for concessions. But they do get a chunk for sure.
They get a pretty sizable chunk.
They do get a chunk. Focus gets the highest chunk, and then depending on what milestones they hit, it'll kick back to Curry. Again, there's probably something different. This doesn't mean that we know. We have no idea what this deal is.
Generalized of how these things kind of typically work.
Unfortunately, there's also been some predatory things where filmmakers get nothing. Like they just the film gets bought and they don't get kicked back anything. So that's been common. That's something that happened with Clerks, I believe.
Yeah, and it's still that happened with Men in Black.
Yeah.
So the screenwriter for Men in Black has never made a dime on that movie.
Crazy. Yeah. So okay, so now let's get to what
the controversy.
The controversy. So again, there is one particular crew member, but I've seen a few other posts about it where they say how much they make and compared to how much the movie has made. Now, having made Demonetized, we have no idea if it's going to be successful or if it's even going to make our investors money back. We don't know. And when they made Obsession, they had no idea. Yes, crew did agree on a rate. And yes, I get that argument that you understand going into this movie, going into indie filmmaking, how much it's going to be and what you kind of have to do to make this. My point that I think I really want to say, and what I do want to say that maybe this is mostly my opinion, not J-WAT's opinion, and each one of us has our own opinion. I feel like that formula needs to change, and I only say that because crew makes the movie happen, and crew. Yes, I know there's an argument where, hey, crew is only there for a couple months, and then, producers and all that, who knows how long Curry has been trying to make this movie. I mean, it's probably over 2 or 3 years. It's to go to, to think about Demonetize and Bundy, that's how long it took us to make movies. So I get that he should have a good chunk of what that comes from. However,
in that regard too, I want people to remember that yes, while crew is hired for that time period, they work for that time, they get paid for that time. Those of us on the producing side, the directing side, the writing side, up until we hit pre-production, we are not getting paid a dime. We are doing all of the prep work, everything leading up to that for free. Once we wrap, now depending on which union it is, there's certain guarantees after wrap of with the DGA, how many weeks and stuff that you'll still get paid. But basically, since we wrapped Demonetize, neither of us have made a penny since November of 2024.
Right.
We have been consistently still working on the film because of, the marketing, the festivals and all that. We're not making a single dime. Yet people were upset, or not so much upset, but questioned when they looked at our budget of why the producers were making so much money. We were not making that much money.
And I say so much money, but again, we
were making less than we actually should have been making.
Well, and less than some of our crew. So, I mean...
Yeah, and less than some of our crew.
Yeah, and there was even a week where I didn't get paid because I was just nervous that we weren't going to hit, a certain goal. So I just, But, again, that's just, it kind of proves what indie filmmaking is. Again, however, I do just want to say that What's happening more and more, though, is that crew is getting cut out more and more below the line. They're getting cut out more and more, and they're trying to make it cheaper as much as possible. And instead of coming after big time producers, obviously us, we're still very low, but big time producers or, these huge companies that are making millions of dollars while, crew is barely living paycheck to paycheck, if that. Some of them are moving out of LA, quitting the industry in general, or, they just can't sustain themselves because they're getting squeezed out. I think there's something that can be done
Absolutely
to make it. Now, I think it's up to production. I don't think it's something that should be enforced necessarily. Me personally, I think from now on, this has taught me I will always have something in place for my crew that if it meets a certain milestone, they will get a
Yeah, we will
kickback.
have some kind of bonus structure, some kind of equity.
Yeah, because 200
we
million.
get it.
Yeah, $200 million. Again, I know that's not all going to Curry, but that is a incredibly huge, a stupid amount of money that we cannot even fathom to understand. And 15 million, again, I'm not trying to criticize Curry in general. I just mean that is also a pretty substantial amount of money that you could still pay for all the time that you spent on the movie, like him as a producer. It covers all your bases of potentially other producers that helped. It takes care of investors. And then, like there could be a structure where it's like, hey, if let's say we got the same deal as Curry, we got 15K, and I feel bad that he's the one.
15 million.
15 million. Oh, gosh,
you really want us to lose money on this, don't
I guess. But yeah, getting 15 million, we have something set in stone where it's like, hey, if we do get above 10 million, we pay back our investors. We give money to, like you, Terrence, Clyde, all the producers that have worked on this stuff for free. That's all covered. And then, we put money back into our production company, but then a percentage of it is sent out to crew.
Yes.
I think that is totally reasonable. I think that's great. I think I would love it to become a standard, but I think, I think it's going to be a choice because there is money grubbing big time people
don't want to give up their piece of the pie.
Right.
Even though, their pie wouldn't have been made without all the hands that made it. And it's the biggest thing that I think, because again, we see both sides of the argument, but the bigger thing stands to reason is the reason that we're able to do what we do is because of the great talented people that we get to work with. So those people are the lifeblood of this industry. We can write as many scripts as we want to make. Doesn't matter. They can't get made if we don't have someone to light the shot. If we don't have somebody to, roll sand, if we don't have a camera person, if we don't have an art person going out and finding the right look.
Yeah.
If we don't have these people, we have a stack of paper that's a very nice paperweight with a cool story inside.
Right.
That's all we've got. Like there's nothing more to that. And, where all of us do get residuals typically as a writer, as a producer, as a director. Sometimes even actors will have that worked in. But everybody else crew-wise deserves that same basic respect. And again, not saying that we deserve so much more because we are the producers, but it is something where people have been like, do you realize how long these guys are working on it? And yeah, that does need to be taken into account that yes, we continue to work on this for zero money for years on end, but it does not mean that our crew should just be left out in the cold. And it's something that I know you said this isn't a J-WAT stance, but I think you're only saying that because we haven't sat down as a producing team.
That's all
to talk
I mean.
about it.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for the others, so.
Yeah, but I almost feel like we could speak for the others because I can't imagine in any world Terrence or Clyde would be like, I don't know. Terrence has worked crew on how many fucking movies? Like, I can't imagine he himself would not be like, yeah, all those movies I've made that have, turned a profit, have done this. Yeah, I busted my ass. I didn't sleep, forever. I just finished, me and my props. I had recently finished reading Ed Zwick's book, Hit Flops and Other Illusions, which I encourage anybody to read. Of course, Ed Zwick, I mean, Academy Award winner for Shakespeare in Love. He's the one who made Blood Diamond, Glory, Defiance. I mean, so many incredible films under his belt. But in the very last pages of his book, he talks about, the sacrifice that he makes, that, he wasn't there for his son's, you know, soccer game and like all these things. And it's the same with our crew. Like we put up a lot of sacrifice. All of us do.
Yeah.
And, everybody deserves to be able to live, a proper life and not feel like they're worn down. And I mean, a big thing, and this is props to Drew, who was our first AD, is we wanted to make sure everybody on Demonetize always had proper turnaround and that people weren't being overworked. And that, I don't know what their hours were like on Obsession, but we are not, a team that wants to have these 20-hour shoot days.
No.
We do not believe in that by any stretch.
Yeah.
We very much want to make sure that our cast and crew are well rested, well fed, and that people feel that respect on the set. And the last bit of that to make them feel that worth is some kind of equity or some kind of bonus structure
Yeah.
to make them feel that. It shouldn't just stop. Just because we have been working for years without getting paid for it doesn't mean that we're the only ones entitled to something. And maybe entitled isn't the right word, but we're not the only ones who should profit from the success because we're not the only ones who made it.
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen some arguments where it's like, hey guys, this is how it's been, deal with it. And it's like, no, I there's so much to criticize about how Hollywood has been run for so many years and how it's just been made to really feed the top and keep filmmakers down. And now that there's just this huge opportunity for filmmakers to get out their work without the studio system is pretty exciting. And yeah, they may only work on the film for like maybe 3 or 4 months, sometimes more, whatever. And, producers are working on it for years. However, their hard work is in that film forever.
Yeah.
And
the reason we get to work on it for years afterwards is because they helped us make it.
Yeah, exactly. And so again, we need to have a meeting with J-WAT to fully decide this, but I will think that moving forward, J-WAT should always have some kind of equity back end points in place that once a certain milestone is hit, that especially when it comes to that kind of money, like that is stupid amounts of money that like, and maybe because I've never experienced that money, I just can't mentally understand it. But like, if we ever got that kind of money, it just, to me, it's like, I can't spend that money. Like,
No,
I could throw that to like movies and that'll take it up fast. But like in my mind,
you and I both live very simple though, in a way of
it's
like,
true.
We like our physical media. We like our toys. We like our books. And other than that, I don't need very much. Like I am a 10-year-old at heart.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to make sure we comment on that because that's just been a really important thing in the industry, and I wanted to kind of give our takes about it. And we've seen a lot of our crew post about it, and so I wanted to make sure that we address that and talk about that.
And I think I can safely say that while we don't have a deal or anything like that worked into any of the contracts for Demonetize, because I mean we weren't thinking of something like that because it hadn't really been brought up as a topic of discussion at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were to make that kind of money or get that kind of deal, Focus Features, call us. Without a doubt, we are going to find a way to take care of our people.
Yes, 100%.
And there's no question about that. We don't know how, because again, it's not something that we built into the structure, but there will be a way that we will financially take care of our people because our success is their success. And it's a no questions barred kind of thing for us.
Yeah, really, in my mind, it's like I got to take care of investors. I got to take care of some debt that's come from me. I got to take care of all that. And then, if after we take care of that, we're barely making money, then it's like, oh, well, we can't give you guys a ton. But if we get anything like even close to Obsession, which, that's the lottery. But
again, Focus Features, call us.
We'll see. We'll see what we'll see what we could do. So, or not, we'll see. It will happen, and it
will happen in one way or another. It might not be a shit ton of money, but it'll be something.
Yeah.
It'll be relative to what we are able to do. Because again, we want our teams to feel valued in their work, to continually feel the value of what they did to bring this movie to life.
Yeah, and we want them to work with stuff in the future. So we need that kind of thing. So awesome. We went way longer, but hey, we had a lot to cover today. I do want to end with a funny story.
Yes.
I went to the DMV
The Department
yesterday.
of Motor Vehicles.
And it is awful. It is an awful place. And I have been like, my car has been it's not broken down. It just needs a new battery and new tires, but the tag's expired. And after a certain point, you have to go to the DMV and get it taken care of. That's how long it's been sitting there.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So I finally was like, all right, I have time. I'm going to go and take care of it. So I go over, I go to the DMV, and I'm sitting there like practicing in my head. I'm like, what am I going to say? And like, cause it's been a long time since I went and got the tags figured out. And it's usually a very easy process out here. It just didn't make sense for me to spend money on a car that I couldn't take out of but anyways, lesson learned, just do it. It doesn't matter. But anyways, I'm sitting there and my number gets called. As I'm walking up to the front desk, I see that the lady is wearing a Back to the Future shirt. I'm not kidding you. She's wearing a Back to the Future shirt. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your shirt. And she's like, oh, thank you. And again, I have been to
Density.
There you go. Really, just wait a second. I've been to the DMV, where I respect anyone out there who works at the DMV. I know it's not an easy job, but like, I have talked to some really awful people who are just miserable, and I know they don't treat you guys well over there. So, but anyways, she was very nice, and she's like, yeah, I'm trying to get my son into it, but he's 11 and he thinks it's so boring. And I'm like, oh, that's so sad. I hope he gets into it, as he gets older. I show her the picture of me at Cinegear in front of the clock tower, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite thing at Universal, to like drive past that, and I get so excited. And anyways, so we really bonded, right? And we're having a good conversation. So then she's like, all right, what can I do for you today? And I'm nervous because it's like a $360 thing I have to pay. It's a lot of money. So I'm like, hey, I'm here to pay this. So I hand it to her, and it says on there that it might be more. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm ready to get obliterated.
Yeah, because you were kind of in the non-operational status at that point.
Well, yeah, and I should have just said that, and then they would have not cared, and they would have, figured it out. But I just, the car stuff, because my stepdad, he is so strict about car stuff that it just gave me so much anxiety. Anyways, I hand her the paper. She knows exactly what the paper is. And she's like, yeah, hold on a sec. Yeah, let me get this figured out. And so she starts typing away, doing stuff. And then after a little bit, she goes, and for those listening, she turns to the left, looks at the cubicle next to her. She turns to the right, the cubicle. They're both busy working on people. No, they're just both busy. Okay. Working on people. And she leans up, she slides this paper. I'm not kidding you. She slides this paper to me, and she's like, okay, so I'm going to waive the fee. All I need you to do is sign this paper and just put something like you had a family emergency and that you couldn't come in. And I was like, sure? And she's like, yes. So just do that. So I did that. And a fee that that was going to be like close to $500 was $99. And that was just to get the, tags. Yeah. She did that for me. And then, yeah, that's, density, man. That was very great. It was very nice of her to do that. And it's just fun that we live in a town that loves movies, and that can happen.
It has been a big stress for you to get this taken care of. And yes. That's pretty fucking amazing.
It is awesome. And now I'm finally on the way to getting my car all fixed, and then I'm free, and then you'll never not see a movie alone, Tim, because I'm going to come and ruin that for you. Just kidding. I know you really enjoy it, so I was just being funny. Yeah. But anyways,
people don't understand how much I actually enjoy just like disappearing. If you guys, we didn't even talk about it during this. We get to Spark of Madness, and I ditched them immediately.
To the Museum of Clean.
To the Museum of Clean, because it was the dumbest thing I could think of, and I had so much fun there.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm weird that way. I go off on my Tim adventures and then I regale them with my stupid stories and my photos.
I love it. But cool, Tim, tell them where they can follow you.
Tim Drake 42, basically everywhere. Give a follow, of course, on the Mic podcast as well.
Yes, some
And
cool
I guess
interviews
this is
have just
kind
come
of
out.
yes, Matt Koff from the Daily Show talking about his new special Catman that's on YouTube. Go check it out; it's very funny. Caleb Zerain, also with his new live show that he did called The Drill Master about the gayest founding father. Perfect for Pride Month.
Awesome.
But yeah, you can check out those 2 new episodes. Some more new ones are getting ready to come out. And this will be where I guess I announce it first, funny enough. Of course, on the Mic podcast, we'll be back at San Diego Comic-Con this July. Can't announce date and time and that stuff yet, but yes, on the Mic podcast, we'll be back at San Diego Comic-Con. So look for more details coming soon on that.
Sweet, dog. Cool. And
what
then
about you, Waddy?
As for me, you can follow me personally, Waddy McFly. Thank you all to people who've followed me through different film festivals and stuff. It's been crazy. I think ever since Demonetize has been hitting the festival circuit, I've gone up in close to 200 to 300 follows, which I know
Nice.
is not a lot, but I wasn't getting any before. So it's just, and a lot of them are just new friends from filmmakers. So appreciate that.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite things with these festivals. It's like you get to know so many of these cool filmmakers, and never in a million years are you like, we're gonna be these kind of weird buddies who just stalk each other and then randomly see each other at festivals. And
Yeah.
I mean, Sadiq, you were roommates with Sadiq. Sadiq and I started laughing that we just see each other only when we're in a different state.
Yeah.
Like Saturday at Cinegear was the first time we'd seen each other in a while in Los Angeles.
That's funny. That's a good point. Yeah, but yeah, follow J-WAT Productions. You could just type in J-WAT Productions and find us pretty much anywhere. I will say that our cast of Demonetized went ghost hunting with Holly Weird Paranormal. I think she's
very,
called...
very fun experience.
Yes, I think she's called Haunted Girl. I can't remember. She's something different on TikTok, but definitely go follow because we released our first episode. By the time this is out, our second episode is out. Then we'll have one more just ghost hunting with the cast of Demonetized, which was really fun. So go check those out. And then,
yeah,
we'll be in Cleveland.
As much as you want with what we experienced.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah. Cleveland will be in Cleveland this week. So go if you're close around there, please hit up Cleveland and come see our movie. The things that we can announce will be in Norway end of August. I believe it's let's see. I know we have a few listeners of
something like that.
Yeah, I know we have no, they moved it now. So it's the 27th, or I think it's the 28th through the 30th. Me and Janine will be there in person, which is crazy. It's going to be the most I've ever traveled, so I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm going to prepare. And then so far...
Calisthenics, my friend, calisthenics.
Yeah, definitely. And compression socks. October 2nd is going to be our Los Angeles premiere. That is going to sell out. I'm almost confident that it's going to sell out.
I'm positive that will sell out. I would guess the day the tickets go on sale, that will sell out.
Yeah, so just keep an eye on our socials for that and get your tickets as soon as you can if you are around LA, because that will sell out. And as far as we've been told, Maddie will be there. So that's a big one. And hopefully the rest of the cast and definitely crew will be there. So cool. Well, I think that's it. Again, sorry for the long episode, but again, we had a lot to cover. I appreciate you all who listen. And if you're new watching these, because we're trying to put them out on YouTube as well, thank you. Hello. You can see our ugly faces.
You can see how often I forget I'm on camera and I'm back here kicking back my my rock stars.
There you go.
Yeah, and I get fidgety and I start playing with things on my desk and
yeah, all good. I do the same. So we got a lot of cool stuff like Demonetize and obviously, but then we have Tim's next movie that's coming, my next movie that's coming. Like we're just really, so it's going to be a really exciting time to follow us and listen to our journey. And we're always open to answer questions if you guys want to hit us up. Anything you want to add, Tim? Are we all set?
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. Party on. All right. Thank you all. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
I don't know. Week. Bye.